I think Eubank Jr. will go all the way. I think he's the real deal. I believe Eubank Jr. is a tremendous talent. If you are a fan of Chris Eubank Sr., his father, you're definitely going to like Jr. because Jr. is very much like his old man, but he throws way more punches. He's actually got a lot more intensity about him as well. It sounds crazy, but he's like an upgraded version, a new age version of Chris Eubank Sr. He's got amazing gears. His endurance is insane. He was out in Miami. I watched him sparring, and the kid is a force to be reckoned with. He really is. If you've never seen this guy fight before, tune in and watch this guy fight because you want to be there when this guy wins his first title so you can say, yeah, I saw it live. Make sure you buy that fight. Those are the words of David Haye talking about Chris Eubank Jr. Now, there has been pictures of these guys together at certain events. I think they went to a fight together in the United States. I forget which fight it was. It may have been, which fight was it now? I've forgotten off the top of my head. One of the fights that's happened in the last month or two. So that they appear to have a good rapport. They do seem to be friends. So you can only expect David Haye to say good things about him if he's friends with him. But to be honest, I think some of the things that he said there do have validity. When he says that Eubank Jr. throws a lot more punches than his dad. Now, me and David Haye are from the same generation, right? We're in the same age range. So I know that David Haye saw Eubank Sr. fighting in his prime. He saw all the fights that I saw, or, most of the main fights that I saw. David Haye would have saw them as well live. So when he's telling you things like Eubank Jr. throws a hell of a lot more punches than his old man, it's absolutely true. Eubank Jr. is a much better combination puncher than his dad. His fitness levels are much better than his dad's. He's got much better stamina, a much better engine than his dad. I'm telling you all these things for facts. His dad was a guy who was a very big middleweight and then super middleweight. And because he would absolutely kill himself to make weight, and he probably wasn't making weight in the right way. I know that he did say that he used to starve himself a lot, Chris Eubank Sr., when he was fighting, just to make weight. And that meant that in a lot of his fights, he threw very, very few punches. He was very low volume, Chris Eubank Sr., in a lot of fights. But he was powerful. He had very good punching power. And most of his fights, he'd be moving around the ring, jabbing, staying out of the way, and not really trying to press the issue at all, particularly as high-level fights. He always had a great chin. He always had a strong punch. As I say, his stamina wasn't the best. Even though he went 12 rounds loads of times, he went 12 rounds usually by staying out of the way and not throwing that many punches and trying to make his shots count. His son, by contrast, is just a machine. I mean, this boy is athletically gifted, to say the least. So there are differences there. And there are some things, quite a lot of things actually, that I think Eubank Jr. is better at than his old man. But most people will agree that his old man had more raw punching power. And I also think that his old man was physically stronger. He was naturally stronger than his son. So, yeah, I don't think that all the things there that David Haye has said about Eubank Jr. are just hype because he's friends with the guy. I do think there's some validity to what he's saying. Obviously at the end, he was saying, yeah, make sure you buy the fight and this, that, and the other. And he was trying to tell you that this is Eubank Mark II and it's history in the making, basically. That's what he was trying to insinuate there. So you want to be part of history. Yeah. I mean, that might be a bit ambitious, but look, David Haye, he's been in the gym with Eubank Jr. He's seen him sparring firsthand. He knows what he's looking at. So how sincere is David Haye being? I don't know. But as I say, at least part of what he said there does have some validity. As somebody in the same kind of age range as David Haye, who was a boxing fan in the 80s and 90s, just like David Haye was, and I saw probably most of the same fights that he saw live. So I can definitely validate his comparisons there. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. How far do you think Eubank Jr. can go? Do you think he can eclipse his dad? I know people like to get nostalgic and wear rose-tinted glasses and whatnot. But just to put things into perspective, Eubank Sr. was a very good fighter, but he wasn't. I mean, you got to be careful when you're saying all-time great, but in my view, he wasn't really an all-time great. Eubank Sr. was never the best in his division, even when he fought at middleweight or super middleweight. He was one of the top guys, but he never fought the very, very top guys. You know, he fought Nigel Benn, yes. He fought Michael Watson. He fought the top guys in the UK, and he fought some of the top guys in the United States. In Europe. But he never fought the top guys from the United States. He never fought Michael Nunn. He never fought James Toney. He never fought Roy Jones. So on and so forth. Never fought these guys. He mainly fought the best guys in the UK. He did fight Joe Calzaghe at the tail end of his career. He obviously moved up to cruiserweight, fought Carl Thompson. Already mentioned he fought Nigel Benn and Michael Watson. Fought Steve Collins, so on and so forth. Fought Ralph Rocchigiani over in Germany. So he did fight good fighters, don't get it twisted. But he was never the best in his division. He never fought the absolute best guys, which in my view at the time were in the United States. So I don't think it's such a lofty or far-fetched idea that Eubank Jr. would actually be able to eclipse his dad. I think he could go on to fight the very best guys in the middleweight or the super middleweight division. Maybe beat some of those guys. We'll see. But, you know, so many people with these rose-tinted shades on are straight away dismissing the idea that Eubank Jr. could be better than his dad. And maybe I did it as well very early on in Eubank Jr.'s professional career. But I should have made more allowances for the fact that he didn't have much of an amateur career. So he was really having his amateur career as a young professional. So maybe even when I first started making videos about Eubank Jr., I was a little too hasty to, you know, write him off as never going to be as good as his dad. But the longer his career has gone and as dedicated as I've seen him become, I think there is a chance that he could go on to eclipse his dad. A chance. I'm not saying he will. The proof is in the pudding. But I do think he has the potential there if he applies himself correctly. And as I've mentioned previously, I would like to see him with a proper trainer who's actually going to be able to get him under control. Somebody he's going to listen to, who can help him refine his technique and his skill and his strategic approach. So we'll see what happens. Let me know how you guys feel in the comment section below. How good can Eubank Jr. be? How far can he go? Can he eclipse his dad? It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.